Experts and various sectors invited to provide insights for Maldives' upcoming National Development Plan. And security experts, educators, and officials meet in symposium to raise awareness on extremism risks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Muiz announces the launch of a nationwide initiative to ensure the permanent availability of nutritious food at affordable prices, positioning the effort as a cornerstone of his administration's food security and public health agenda.
The government has expanded its list of essential food items from 3 to 26, adding 23 new varieties. The selection was based on an evaluation of frequently imported goods, household consumption patterns, and nutritional value. Fresh produce features prominently in the revised list, which now includes 10 commonly consumed fruits and 10 vegetables. Additional staples such as turmeric, mung beans or lentils, coconut, and eggs have also been added. Implementation is being carried out through the State Trading Organization STO, which has been tasked with importing and retailing the newly designated items at fixed prices. The first batch of fruits and vegetables was released to the market via STO on 15th October. The government's intervention aims to address long-standing price volatility. STO has pledged to maintain stable pricing for these essential items, ensuring their consistent availability across the country. President Muiz also linked the initiative to broader public health campaigns, including efforts to reduce tobacco and vaping use. First Lady Sajida Mohammed echoed the president's message, calling for global solidarity in addressing food insecurity. In her World Food Day post, she reframed food not merely as a necessity, but as a fundamental human right. She also underscored the urgency of international cooperation in the face of climate change and global crisis. She concluded by affirming that a unified approach to food security not only addresses humanitarian and logistical challenges, but also strengthens cultural ties and fosters community cohesion.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz returns to Male following his visit to 14 inhabited islands of Shaviani Atoll. During the tour, the president visited Kanditimu, Numara, Goidu, Fedu, Fiva, Bilefahi, Forcadu, Milandu, Narudu, Maroshi, Laimagu, Funadu, Komandu, and Maungudu. He met with island councils, women's development committees, and residents to discuss each community's development priorities and matters concerning their well-being. Throughout the visit, several new development projects were launched and agreements for major initiatives were signed. These included programs under the Population Consolidation Policy, new housing schemes, and projects in education, healthcare, and physical well-being. The president reaffirmed the government's strong commitment to advancing sustainable development across all sectors. As part of the tour, the president officially inaugurated the first ice plant established under his administration's efforts to revitalize the fishing industry. He also announced that $32.4 million would be allocated each to the health and education sector in the next year's state budget. Addressing residents, the president shared updates on the country's financial and economic situation and the progress being made. He pledged to introduce modern digital payment services such as PayPal for Maldivians and to create greater opportunities within the creative economy. He further highlighted that work is underway to resume operations at several stalled waste management centers in the Northern Islands as part of a nationwide initiative to strengthen waste management systems. This visit is part of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's broader commitment to engage directly with communities across the nation, meeting with atoll, island, and city councils for further development and address local needs. And now we bring you the call to prayer for Isha.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Welcome back to our English news program. We return with the local headlines. Maldives calls for a renewed, responsive, and reform-oriented non-aligned movement, or NAM. Ambassador-at-Large at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Fahmi Hassan, delivered the country statement at the 19th midterm ministerial meeting of the Non-Aligned Movement, or NAM, held in Uganda. The meeting, chaired by Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General J.J. Odongo Abubakar, convened ministers from NAM member states to deliberate on strategies for strengthening cooperation and global governance. In his statement, Ambassador-at-Large Dr. Fahmi commended Uganda for its leadership in guiding NAM toward stronger collaboration. He emphasized that the rapidly evolving global landscape demands urgent action and leadership from the movement. Highlighting three key priorities, he called on NAM members to strengthen their collective voice against emerging non-traditional security threats, embrace innovation and sustainable and inclusive development, and lead in reforming global governance, including in calling for a more accountable and representative UN Security Council. The Maldives also welcomed the agreement reached on the terms for commencement of implementation of the first phase of the proposal to end the war in Gaza. The Non-Aligned Movement, created in 1961, is a grouping of 121 countries that were not aligned with or against any major power blocs during the Cold War. Following the end of the Cold War, it has broadened its mandate to focus on emerging non-traditional challenges. The Maldives became a member of NAM in 1976. According to the Ministry of Finance and Planning's weekly fiscal development report, Maldives sees a significant surge in revenue from airport taxes and fees, collecting over $162 million as of September.
The tax revenue represents a substantial 51% increase compared to the same period last year. The report details that the collection is attributed to two primary components: departure tax and the airport development fee. Certain categories of passengers are exempt from these charges. Those enjoying diplomatic immunity, transit passengers, and children under 2 years of age are exempt from departure tax. Similarly, diplomatic immunity holders and direct transit passengers are exempt from the airport development fee. The departure tax levied from 1st January 2022 contributed $77.8 million by 18th September, marking a 51% rise from $53.2 million collected during the same time frame in the previous year. Similarly, the airport development fee implemented on 1st May 2017 and applicable to all departing passengers from Valana International Airport VAA generated $84.3 million by 18th September. This fee also experienced a considerable increase of 51.1%, up from $54.4 million in the corresponding period last year. The combined revenue from these airport taxes and fees reached $162.1 million as of August, a stark contrast to the $97.3 million collected during the same period last year. This remarkable growth is largely attributed to a strong influx of tourists and an increase in tax rates. Data from the Ministry of Tourism and Environment reveals that 1.7 million tourists have visited the Maldives so far this year, a 13% increase from the 1.5 million visitors during the same period last year. The government has set an ambitious target of attracting 2.3 million tourists by the end of the year, needing an additional 580,741 visitors to achieve this goal.
Experts from a wide array of sectors is invited to contribute their insights as part of an extensive consultation process for Maldives' upcoming National Development Plan.
Next year, Maldives, the local firm tasked with developing this crucial 20-year roadmap, has announced the opening of registration for a series of technical expert meetings designed to foster comprehensive stakeholder participation. These meetings represent a significant opportunity for individuals and organizations across diverse sectors, including labor, social welfare, and various creative fields, to offer their expertise and perspectives. A total of 20 meetings will be held, covering 62 distinct topics identified as key areas for national development. Experts from the economic, social, environmental, governance, and spatial planning are slated to participate in sector-specific roundtables. Their discussions will aim to illuminate future challenges, identify necessary adaptations, and formulate actionable solutions for the nation's advancement. Registration for these important consultation meetings is now open and can be completed through the National Development Plan website ndp.nexia.mv. The website, also with Nexia's social media channels, will provide detailed schedules and dates for all upcoming sectoral meetings. The consultation process will commence with a technical meeting focused on housing on 22nd October. Subsequent meetings are scheduled to run until 5th November, encompassing critical areas such as development planning, social services, finance, and employment. A dedicated session will also be held for international aid organizations. The National Development Plan, envisioned as a shared vision for all Maldivian citizens, has already engaged residents from over 100 islands to gather their valuable input. The overarching goal of this strategic plan is to unite the nation in a singular direction, aiming to achieve the ambition of making the Maldives a developed country by the year 2040.
Security experts, educators, and government officials convenes for a crucial symposium aimed at raising awareness and understanding of the pervasive dangers of extremism. Jointly organized by the Islamic Military Counter-Terrorism Coalition, or IMCTC, and the National Counterterrorism Center, the symposium, being held from the 15th to the 16th of October, underscored the global nature of the threat and the necessity for unified action. The inaugural session saw approximately 80 participants from security, law enforcement, and educational sectors engage in critical discussions. Addressing the gathering, Minister of State for Defense Aishat Safura expressed her hope that the program would equip attendees with invaluable insights. The IMCTC, an intergovernmental alliance of 43 Muslim-majority countries, founded in 2015 by Saudi Arabia, is actively engaged in awareness and capacity-building initiatives across its member states to combat terrorism and extremism. This symposium is part of a broader effort, with previous programs this year having focused on enhancing the capabilities of religious scholars, media professionals, and educators in confronting the threat of extremism. The Ministry of Social and Family Development hosts a critical validation meeting to finalize key proposed amendments to the family regulations, a foundational set of rules that governs marriage, divorce, and child welfare in the Maldives.
The overhaul is specifically aimed at enhancing the implementation of the primary legislation, the Family
Maldives Airports Company Limited, or MACL, reveals operations of Hanimado International Airport have been successfully transferred to the newly constructed passenger terminal, marking a pivotal advancement in northern aviation infrastructure.
The transition represents a critical phase of the airport's modernization program ahead of its official inauguration scheduled for November. MACL confirmed the successful relocation of services from the former terminal to the new facility following the completion of the operational readiness and airport transfer, or RAT, process. The terminal is now fully operational for both arriving and departing passengers, with MACL reporting that trial procedures were executed without incident. The move was carried out in accordance with directives issued by the Civil Aviation Authority CAA, which require the removal of the previous terminal structure and any elevated installations near the runway. This clearance is essential to facilitate the safe landing of Code C aircraft, including the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320. With the new terminal in place, Hanimado International Airport now features a 2,465-meter runway designed to accommodate larger aircraft. The technical upgrade significantly enhances the airport's capacity and operational scope. Once fully activated, the facility is expected to handle up to 1.3 million tourists annually. A notable addition is the installation of an aero bridge, making Hanimadu the only airport in the country, aside from Valana International Airport, to offer this feature. The development project, valued at $136.6 million US, was awarded to India-based JMC Projects Limited. Construction began in January 2023, representing a major infrastructural investment in the northern region. In preparation of the formal opening, MSL is undertaking a series of finalization measures. These include calibrating equipment, refining service protocols, and training personnel to meet operational demands. A central focus remains on ensuring full compliance with international aviation standards and national regulatory framework.
Taking a look at international business, the S&P 500 ends higher, with Morgan Stanley and Bank of America rallying after solid quarterly results, while investors remained focused on the recent increase in China-US trade tensions.
Morgan Stanley's shares hit a record high, while Bank of America rose after the top lenders beat Wall Street estimates for third quarter profit on deal-making strength. The S&P 500 banking index rose in its first three-day winning streak in more than 3 weeks. A day earlier, Goldman Sachs and JPM Morgan Chase reported a solid performance in investment banking and predicted that the business would continue to bloom.
What we're seeing with the big banks is that, that their investment banking revenues are starting to pick up. I think Bank of America, if I'm not mistaken, reported a 43% increase. That's a welcome sight for them and for the industry as a whole. It had been sort of, dormant, if you will, for the last couple of years. And so it's nice to see that's picking up.
This week's bank results indicate a strength for major U.S. companies as a third quarter earnings season kicks off. They also provide hints of the economy's health, while many macroeconomic reports remain on hold due to a government shutdown. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index jumped after ASML reported third quarter orders and operating income above market expectations, lifted by booming AI investment.
An update on world events. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius says Germany prepares a military aid package to Ukraine worth $2.32 billion US.
Minister Pistorius said the package will focus on strengthening Ukrainian air defense and will contain missile defense systems, radar technology and ammunition, speaking alongside his Ukrainian and British counterparts after a meeting in Brussels.
Germany is supporting Ukraine with around 9 billion euros this year, and we will continue our support at this level on this level. From this amount, we are currently preparing a package worth 2 billion euros. It will contain missile defense systems, state-of-the-art radar technology and ammunition. We also participate, of course we do, in Pearl, the prioritized Ukraine requirements list with an investment of $500 million.
The minister said that Germany will be contributing $500 million to the PURL program, the initiative that has replaced U.S. arms donations to Ukraine and now requires allies to pay for U.S. weapons deliveries. Pistorius also announced that Germany would be launching a modernization initiative to increase the combat power and service life of land combat systems, such as main battle tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, so that they comply with the latest standards.
Insights into world sports. Indonesia's Soccer Federation says, citing a mutual agreement, that Indonesia parts ways with its Dutch men's national soccer team, coach Patrick Kluivert, after nearly 12 months on the job.
Crawford's departure follows Indonesia's devastating loss in Jeddah against Iraq, ending their chances to qualify for next year's World Cup in the United States. Indonesia were looking to qualify for the World Cup for the first time since the country claimed independence from the Netherlands in 1945, and their progress to the fourth round of Asia's preliminaries was the country's best performance to date. Former AC Milan, Ajax and Barcelona player Crawford was hired in January with his contract set to expire in 2027. He oversaw a team built largely on players from the country's Dutch diaspora.
A painting by legendary French artist Pierre-Auguste Renoir that has never been shown to the public since its creation more than 100 years ago is set to go under the hammer in Paris and expected to sell for at least $1.15 million.
Painted before 1910, the piece titled Child with Toys, Gabriel and the artist's son Jean was given by the painter to Jean Baud, his only student and close friend. It has remained in the family ever since. The work depicts the artist's son, Jean Reno, and his nursemaid, Gabrielle Renaud. She was one of painter's favorite models, posing in nearly 200 paintings, said auctioneer Christopher Sharon-Durham. The painting is comparable to a work of the same name exhibited at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. During its authentication, it was sent to the United States so that the two works could be compared side by side. Pascal Perrin, an art consultant at Renault Specialist, described the artwork as being in exceptional condition and retaining all its colors perfectly. The painting will be sold at auction with the Darroud Auction House in Paris on November 25th.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.